You're in tune to Chicago's most popular college music radio station. 89.3 is WKKC. This is Focus Talk, the thought-provoking, solution-oriented talk show daring to make a difference in our communities. We're talking on a regular basis because the answers really matter. What are we talking about? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're talking about politics, religion, personal development, education, history, music, and then from time to time, we are spotlighting positive people who are doing positive things right here in Inglewood, throughout the Chicagoland area, as well as the entire nation. I'm your host, Dennis Snipe. Joining me in the studio today is digital content strategist, Brother Toure Muhammad. Brother Muhammad, how are you today?
Brother, I'm doing excellent, man. It's good to see you, brother.
It's good to be seen instead of viewed.
I know that's right.
You doing well?
Man, I'm doing well. No complaints.
Now, let me ask you, what does digital content strategist mean?
Well, from my perspective, I take my experience in media, marketing, publicity throughout the years, and I squeeze that experience into this digital platform that we use today, the internet, social media, blogging, and help people to tell their story.
Okay. All right. So now, needless to say, things have totally changed from years ago when we had to really work hard at it. We can reach a large amount of people just by clicking a button. So based on that, does that mean that I have to approach this thing totally different than I had before as a business person, or if I have a product, or if I'm doing something, I have to look at it differently? And if so, how do I do it?
You know, that's a yes or no question. You do have to look at it differently, but I like to always go back to basics, because sometimes people lose that in the frenzy of thinking about all this opportunity that's out here.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if you don't have a good story or a good product, it does not matter how much internet access and social media you have.
I guess you have a
right?
point there.
You have to go back to the basics of making sure your story is strong, because the same way the social media can open you up to opportunity, it can also be a good focus group, right? To let you know if your product or service or your story is not strong enough because it's not capturing people's attention. So, yes, once you understand that your story has to be good, then there are different tactics. I really encourage people to do a combination. You know, there's still some traditional ways that work. People still have flyers. People still do some printing, right? So if you have a good mixture where you make sure that you're targeting your audience where they are and meeting them on their cell phone and in their mailbox if need be, then you'll make sure to be seen when the time is right for people to make that decision to buy.
So therefore, as far as content is concerned, because what I've noticed that most people don't care for things that are very long, nor, and I'm just calling it like I see it, that most people are not very fond of things that are substance. You know, it's like the jokes and stuff that's not very savory. So is it my job to change the minds of the people that I'm trying to reach, or do I meet them at their level and then take them to where I want them to be?
Well, you know, I think that what social media and the internet has done is shown the level of people's attention span even before the internet, right? If you look at, you know, how long our traditional commercials, you know, they're very short. And of course, there may be a financial reason they don't want to pay that much for that much time. But how much time do you need to really capture someone's attention? The news broadcast in and of itself, from the beginning of television, it's been about sharing information and entertainment, right? So we have to carry those same principles. And that's what I'm going to mean by sometimes things are not as different as we think they are. You know, people's attention span has been short for a long time. It's just gotten easier to exploit it because we have so many more tools, right, to access and to utilize. You know, before the cell phone, we were on the TV, watching the TV, flipping the channels, right? Then it went to cable, right? Every time it was just something else that was, if we had good focus, then all of the other stuff that was coming to capture our attention would not capture it. Right. So Well, but yes, you need something that's going to be that, unfortunately, that combination of entertainment and information. And if you can blend it right, where you, and you know, this is the other thing too. If it captures people's heartstrings emotionally, yes, laughter and humor helps. But we respond. I think all communities respond a lot to emotional stuff as well. If it's painful, if somebody has an incredible human interest story that is tugging at our heartstrings, we'll pay attention to that as well. So it has to capture that emotion, and then we have to ring out that time that we have with them and make sure that we're touching them.
Okay, so now as far as my business, what are some of the things that I should be mindful of? Can you maybe give me the top three?
Yes, I think first and foremost, consider that you need to have a media department that coincides with your business. Mm-hmm. Whatever business that you are in, if it's nothing but a cell phone and a mini tripod and you holding it doing selfies, document your business experience. Even if you don't use it immediately, but start documenting your progress. A lot of times we want to make sure that people see us perfect in our best light, right? But we forget that our customers, we need to take them on a journey with us. If Oprah was Oprah today, 30 years ago, people couldn't relate to her. Women couldn't relate to her. She's a billionaire. But she started off just like many average housewives, and they could see themselves in her, right? So she wouldn't have the following today if she came out as the billionaire. We have to let people see us on our journey and see us evolve and see us grow. So document your history, document your story, and don't be embarrassed by it, because I think it was the guy from LinkedIn who said that if your business looked perfect 10 years ago, then you started 10 years too late, right? When you look at your business and look back on it, it should be growth and improvement and development in it.
So based on that, then what you're saying is that I shouldn't be upset or dismayed by humble or small beginnings, because that's part of the process.
That's part of the process. And the people that walk with you now are going to be those that carry you later on, because they're going to say, you know what, I remember I have a friend who started off with a product, selling it out the back of his car. He would roll up to my house. I would come outside, look like a drug deal. He would go in his trunk and I would buy his product from him.
Okay.
He has retail outlets now, right? So, but I can say, man, I've been supporting my man. When somebody said, do you know this person? I said, man, I've been knowing him. I was supporting him when he was selling out the back of his car, right? That's pride that I've been helping, or I've been a part of his process with him. If he was already there, yeah, I like his stuff, and I get it every now and then. But see, those people, man, that can follow you and evolve with you, man, you got customers for life, and they're your advocates.
Toure, that is incredibly encouraging, because a lot of people, they start off in business and they want it the way that they picture it in their minds immediately, and then become frustrated when it doesn't get there quickly. And it's like, it's taking too long. I don't want to do this. I put too much money into it. I'm not getting anything back on my return. Well. But okay, all right. Well, that's a good thing. I'll say. So now, in the meantime, when you start off at the bottom to get to the top, what do you do in the meantime?
Well, along with making sure you documenting your own story, then you want to make sure, of course, that you are working to make your product the very best, right? You have to take pride in your product, and you have to make sure that you love the people that you're trying to serve. Your consumer that should be your family. They should be, and you should serve them with integrity and dignity. So if great product, you're documenting and putting it on social media and on the blog, on your website, and you're treating your customer right, that's a recipe for success right there. And if you forego any of those three things, it's going to be hard to stay in business. And that's what happens with most people. They're not in it for the long run, and they may not have the passion for one of those three things, and it comes back to bite them. Too often I've heard a business owner say, man, I don't have time to post on my social media pages about my business. I'm too busy running my business. I don't have time to write a blog or anything about my business. I don't have time to do these things that will expose me on social media about my business. And they turn to me and say, Toure, I need some help marketing my business. Well, you just did three things right. You just said three things right there that you need to be doing that you refuse to do. So my marketing, my assistance with a business works better when they're already doing something, right? It's like if I have to try to get in, if you had to try to bring exposure to somebody that has no exposure, it's much harder. You got to work harder to get them exposure. If they already have been doing things, then you can send them. I can send a person to, hey, check out my man's website. Check out his social media pages. Look at his Instagram. And if there's activity there, then now that person I sent is going to stay. If I send them there and there's no activity, there's no movement, you haven't posted in 6 months, they're going to walk away. And they're going to tell me why I waste their time. Tell them to check out an Instagram page with no movement. Today, people go, when I get referrals, somebody tell me, you know what, so-and-so told me to give you a call. And that was 2 days ago. I said, what took you so long to call? He said, well, the first thing I did, I went to your Facebook page. I went to your website. I looked at your LinkedIn page. And so now, and I looked at some of the reviews. Now I think that you can help me, right? So now I don't even have to sell them on my abilities because they already researched me before they called me.
So basically I had to check your dossier to see that you were who you say that you are.
That's right. And people are doing it online.
Okay. All right. And now, needless to say, that's how it was with you with Bean Soup Times, where you started small and you just continued to work your network, to continue to meet your particular family members where they were and took them to where they needed to be.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And, when I say this, people think I'm just being humble, and there's some of that. But I think that one of the reasons I've survived is because I've been consistent and I've just stayed in the game. I'm like Rocky. I just won't get out the ring, right? So, but then also, along with that longevity, I see where I want to go, right? I want Bean Soup Times and Black Chicago East to be one of the top 25 recognized websites for Black people. I want to be doing 2 million page views a month. I want to have numbers like DNA Info, that when they just decided to shut down, before they shut down. That's what my goals are. So, I feel like I'm just getting started, and I appreciate the support I've gotten, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Okay. Now, really quickly, before we take a pause and then we come back, give me some information about Bean Soup Times. What is it?
It's a digital news outlet where we share news and information, whether it be breaking news about health, politics, technology, community. We try to share things that are relevant to our community and that will help. There's an entertainment value in there. We do arts and entertainment, but then our core things we're trying to do is educate and empower.
Okay. All right. Chicago Eats.
Black Chicago Eats is a celebration of Black people's contribution to Chicago's culinary art scene. So we have a directory listing many Black-owned restaurants, over 200 listed there. And then we also do some content around exposing the chefs, the restaurants, letting people know, I just did a post about some incredible egg rolls, just stuff that people may not know that's out there that Black people are doing. I mean, it's actually 2 companies that their specialty is egg rolls.
And they make nothing but egg rolls?
Nothing but egg rolls. That's their primary thing, maybe fries or whatever. One young lady lived in Korea for a few years. So, China. So she went to China and came back with 20 different recipes. Now, these recipes are not what they do in China, but it's just now that she was in the environment where they are making them from scratch, homegrown, she flipped it with a lot of Black flavor and swagger.
And this is a Black woman?
Black woman.
Wow. Okay. All right. So I would imagine that along with the work that you're doing as far as networking, getting out and seeing the diversity of your particular craft and other people who may be doing the same thing, and see how you can add that to what you're doing can work as well.
That's right. You have to take the best of what's out there and extract it and utilize it for your purposes. You know, sometimes innovation can be an Achilles heel. Everybody wants to do something different, but sometimes you can just do what works. The key is the difference is in execution. It's not necessarily in what the product is. Sometimes it's who can deliver it. You know, there are some companies, they deliver a solid, simple product, but they do it consistently every single time. While somebody else may have a great product, but it's great when I get it on Monday, and then on Wednesday, it's horrible. You know, so you have to be consistent.
Okay. All right. And if your product does not have that consistency, to basically venture out and see what you can do in order to improve it.
You have to, or you'll be saying what some people say when they don't find the support and success that they need or that they're seeking. Oh, black people just don't support. No, maybe your product wasn't that good.
Okay.
Or maybe you didn't reach them in an effective way, you know. But yeah, we have to consistently. And I think I plateaued for a minute, and I'm being revived over these past couple of years to really reinvent what I'm doing, because we get complacent and we get to a certain level and we say, yeah, you know, we okay. But no, there's always new people coming into the market, new competition. You know, I mean, I was doing very well until Facebook came along, you know, 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that I felt the effects of that. As social media grows, people are using local businesses a lot less. You know, I mean, look at some of these clothing retail outlets. You know, I mean, it's hard for them to sell now because people just go online and go to Amazon or go wherever and have it shipped to them. So, you know, the competition is coming from cyberspace. So we have to be in those spaces and fight for our space, just like if it was a brick and mortar space.
Okay. All right. Well, now we're going to take a break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to come back and talk about that a little more, about social media. Is it a blessing or is it a curse, depending on what side of the spectrum that you're on? And then also, I want to talk about branding and how you can brand something that can be good, or that particular brand can be connected to something not so good if you don't do it right. Okay, and then we'll talk about some of the other projects, some of the other things that you're working on.
Sounds good.
All right, you're in tune to Chicago's most popular college music radio station. 89.3 is WKKC. We'll be right back.
You're watching FocusTalk TV
with your host, Dennis Snipe.